which numbers do we want to see? Do you go over what questions about? So let's do 2 and 5, and then I saw 3 or a couple of things. So we'll do those 3. Okay. For number 2, we had to solve for b. Let me get rid of this first one. Okay. To solve for b, we have to get rid of 2 by multiplying it to the other side. So 2k equals mb squared. 2 cancel. Then we can get rid of m by dividing on both sides. Then to get b by itself, we would need to take the square root of both sides. So the square root of 2k all over m would equal b. That would be our answer. Questions on that one? For 3, to find the slope, we're using our y2 minus y1. You don't have to write this part, you can move on. So 4 minus a negative 2, or you could have put it as 4 plus 2 over 5 minus a negative 1, or you can put it as 5 plus 1. Simplify both parts. So 4 plus 2 would be 6. 5 plus 1 would also be 6, and simplify. And then number 5. For number 5, we're looking for the x and y intercepts. Where does this cross the x and y axis? This happens to be the same for both the x and y at 0, 0. It was just one x-intercept and one y-intercept. So make sure you hold on to your new Sharkbite answer sheet. It is a different color to help you maybe not lose it. And then you should have your review in front of you. It says study guide, same thing. We will go through whatever questions you have, want to go through on this. So let's start with the first page. What questions do we have from the first page that we want to see and go over? Have questions about? For number 3, you have to remember your boy bucks. This is a vertical line. If it's a vertical line, that's an x equals. And you're looking for where does this line cross the x-axis? What number would that be? -3. And that would be our equation. X equals -3. Sure. For all the others on this page and number 5 on the next, you are writing these in slope-intercept form. So you've defined the slope and the y-intercept of each graph. y-intercept is easiest because it's where it crosses on the y-axis. Slope, if you don't have dots, you have to look for where does this cross the grid lines exactly. And it doesn't really do that until you get to the ends of the arrows. What would that slope be?
-2.
Yes. You would write this as y equals -2/5 x plus 1. Any others from this page? Right. Same process. Y-intercept here, it looks like it's really close to 4, but it's not exactly on the y-axis, so it's at -5. And then the next point that crosses the grid lines exactly would be right here. What is that slope? -8, but yes. So this will be y equals -8x minus 5. Go on to the next page. Questions on this page?
Number 8.
So anytime it says write the slope intercept form of the equation of the line through the given point with the given slope or some format of that, you're using your point slope that was
I don't know. This has never happened.
Oh, it's okay. So make sure you have that written down on a just in case you don't have it. Isn't it?
I didn't know.
That's it. You can take it all. I don't know. So write this down. Your y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And then you have your x1 and y1 and your m. And you're going to put all of those in your point slope. So y minus 2 equals -3/2 times x. You can put minus minus, or you can just make that a plus. If you put minus minus, you have to change it to a plus before you do anything else. And then distribute and solve. So that our final equation would be y equals -3/2x minus 1. So this would be the equation that goes through this point that has this slope. Questions on that one? Or any others on this page? If you are given the slope and y-intercept, you just have to write those together in your slope-intercept form. Y equals -3/4 x plus 3. On the next page, before you find any questions you have, I want you to write these two down. In the space next to 12, write this. Through 5, 0, slope 5/3. And then at the bottom, if you didn't get this, I'm going to come back to it. At the bottom, I want you to write through 0, -6, 1/3, 2. So we're going to do those two for certain. Which others on this page we want to see if you go over any questions about? Start with those, and then a few others will go back and do those. So these are all still in the point slope section. You have your x1, y1, m. You need to rewrite your point slope at the top. Do that. So this would be y. You can put -4 or +4 equals -1/5 times x minus 5. Then distribute and solve. Be careful with your negatives. So your final answer would be y equals -1/5 x minus 3. Questions about that one? Even though 12 is in the same section, because the slope is undefined, we can't put undefined slope. And then we can't put an undefined slope in this format. So what we're going to do instead is think about our McCoy book. For undefined slope, that is our x equals. So this is going to be an x equals equation. Look at your x value, and that would be your answer. X equals 3. There's really no work there. You just have to know that. If this says slope equals 0, you could do the same thing but for y, or you could use the point slope. Just for undefined, it doesn't work. Questions on that one? Yes, sir.
Wait, so if it's 0, we do y?
Mm-hmm. And in this case, it would be the same number, but it depends on the order here. Alright, for the one I had you guys write down, we have x1, y1, and m. The same process. Y minus 0 equals 5/3 times x minus 5. Distribute. This part is just going to become y. Excuse me. So 5/3 x minus 25/3. So we have a fraction for the y-intercept. Leave it as a fraction. Do we have any questions on that one? For 16, this section we are given 2 points. We have to find the slope before we can use our point slope. So we would be doing 0 minus a -5 or plus 5 over 0 minus 4. What would that slope be? And if you didn't have, so in this case, you're given the y-intercept, so you don't have to do the work for the point slope. Anytime you see 0 as your x and then some other number, that's going to be your y-intercept, so you don't have to do the rest of the work. You have your slope, you have your y-intercept, put those together. You can put plus 0, you don't need it though. Now, if you forget that and still do the work, that's fine, because you should still get the same answer. Questions on that one? And then the other one I had you guys write down, we have to find the slope of this one. So that would be 2 minus a negative 6 or plus 6 over 1/3 minus 0. So when we simplify, that would become 8 over 1/3. And you can either put that in your calculator, alpha y equals, go all the way down to the bottom and hit it again, alpha y equals. Or you can take this denominator and flip it and multiply here and what would that new slope be? Here, are we given the y-intercept? As one of the order pairs? Yes. So we, again, don't have to do the work because we're given that y-intercept. So y equals 24x minus 6 would be our answer. Do we have any other questions on the page that we want to see you go over any questions on? So on to the next page. And which questions from this page do we want to see you go over? Have questions about? See, because I guess the words are your different ones. We'll start with those two. If we have any others, we will go to those. So for 18 is asking for which line is parallel to this original. So we have to solve this one by doing what? We get this back in slope-intercept form. Subtract 5x on both sides. We have negative 2y equals negative 5x plus 18, and then you get y by itself. Divide what by?
-2.
Divide everything by negative 2. So y equals positive 5 over 2x minus 9. If the line we have to find is parallel, what do we know about their slopes? They're the same. So which of these is the same? C. Parallel lines have to have the same slope with different y-intercepts, so C would be our answer there. Questions on that one? For 22, it says find the value of A that would make the first equation perpendicular to the second. So if we knew or could see the equation of the second, then we could find the slope that would be perpendicular. So first we have to solve this, divide everything by 2. And if the first equation has to be perpendicular, what would that slope be? -2/3. So we would say A equals -2/3. Now if it asks you to find the slope that is perpendicular, specifically, you would put M equals, but in this case it specifically said A, the value of A. Are there any other questions on this page you want to see to go over, have questions about? So for these, we have to state whether the given equations are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So for A, we have to solve them both. So I'm going to do that simultaneously at the same time. Subtract x on both sides, and then write the equation. I'm going to write the equation above it because I don't have a whole lot of space. So for this one, it would be y equals -x plus 5. For the other one, it would be y equals -x minus 10. Are those two lines parallel, perpendicular, or neither? How do we know that? And they have the same slope and different y-intercepts. So the first ones are parallel. You can write out the word or put the symbol, either or, it doesn't matter. For the equations in B, those are already solved. Are those parallel, perpendicular, or neither? How do we know that?
Because the slope is the same.
And two things: the slopes are the same, and the y-intercepts are different. Because if they happen to have the same y-intercept, they would not be parallel. They would be the exact same line. Because they have to have different y-intercepts. Right? Then we can solve for C. Subtract 3x on both sides to both equations. And divide by -8 on one of the equations and -6 on the other. I don't have spaces. I'm just going to rewrite them over here. Or, yeah, sure. So y equals +3/8 x minus 11/8, and y equals 1/2 x minus 5/3. Are these parallel, perpendicular, or neither? Neither. Because the slopes aren't the same at all, so they can't be parallel. And they're not negative reciprocals of each other. Other questions on this page? So similar to 20. 22, we have to solve the second equation. Add 4x to both sides. Divide everything by 3. And if we wanted the value of a to be perpendicular to this one, what would that be? What would a be? Or, I'm sorry, Bella, because that's where your hand are. Negative 3/4. Negative 3/4. The next page has a lot of the same stuff we just did for writing, so we're going to skip that page. This page is very similar to the page we were just on. Number 1, 2, 3 is number 20 from the last page. 7, 9, and 11 is number 21 from the last page. And 23 and 24 are 22 and 23 from that page we were just on. So we could do 1, 2, 3, 15, 17, 19, 20. But we've done the others. Do we have questions on any of those? I'm going to rewrite this just a little bit bigger because it's a little hard to see. So this is 1/2, 1/3, and the equation is x plus 2y equals 5. So we are looking for the equation of the line that passes through the given point and is parallel to the given equation. So we have to solve this first, subtract x on both sides. Divide everything by 2, so that y equals negative 1/2 x plus 5/2. If our new equation is parallel to this one, what will the slope be? Parallel lines have the same slope, so what would the slope of the new equation be? Negative 1/2. So we're going to use that same slope. And now we're going to use our x1, y1, and our point slope. So I'm going to do this up here because I don't want to go space. So y minus 1/3 equals negative 1/2 times x minus 1/2. It looks complex because of all the fractions, but really we're doing the same process. Distribute and solve. Add 1/3 to 1/4 and tell me what you get. Y equals negative 1/2 plus 7 plus would be parallel to the original. I meant to say to cross out this by intercept, but it was fine. Other questions on this page? questions on the next page. None. The last page are similar questions. Any questions on the very last page? Yes.
Oh.
Four. On this page or, sorry, on the last page or this page?
This.
So go back. Do number 4. Very similar to the one we just did, but now the word pair is not fraction. We have to solve this equation first. Subtract 5x on both sides. So 2y equals negative 5x plus 10. Divide everything by 2. So that y equals negative 5 over 2x plus 5. It's not the final answer. We can cross out the y-intercept because we don't need it. If we're looking for an equation that is parallel, we're using the same slope. And then we're using the point x1, y1. I'm going to do the rest of the work over here because I don't think that's space. So then we have y minus 3 equals negative 5 over 2 times x. I'm going to put plus 2 or minus minus. You need to change it. Distribute and solve. That our final equation would be y equals negative 5 over 2x minus 2. It would be parallel to the original, has the same slope, but a different y-intercept. Other questions on this page or the last? Two on this page or the last page? So this one is already in slope-intercept form, so we don't need to do this part. We don't need to solve. We can cross out the y-intercept. We're looking for an equation that is parallel. So the slope is going to be the same. And we're going to be using this point, our x1, our y1, and then doing our point slope. So y plus 1 equals 1/4 times x minus 4. Distribute and solve. So that our final equation would be y equals 1/4 x minus 2. Other questions on this page or the last? other questions? For the remainder of class, you could be working on these things. Keep working in the review packet. Do as many problems as you feel like you need to do. Does math, if you haven't done those, to include the one that is due on Friday on parallel and perpendicular lines, / the writing linear equations, part 1 and part 2 that were already due, or past ones. If you feel like you're good with this stuff and want to work on retake work, you can come see me for that. But you should be working on one of those 3 things. We should not be on our phones. Let me know if you have any questions. You can move around, work together.